Hey, did you know that the Torture Pod has merch? Yeah. Over at redbubble.com/people/torturepod, we have a whole bunch of different items that you can wear, adorn on your phone or your computer or your car to show your love for torture. We have Brazen Bull t-shirts. You can have the torture logo on a mug. Guild Array on Hat Day on a hat, if that's what you choose. Welcome to Latumba shower curtains. I mean, literally, anything you want. iPhone cases with sort your fucking life out on them. I mean, how much better does it get? And remember, all Pride merch sold, profits go directly to the Trevor Project. So you're also helping people in the process of showing your love for the podcast. Just go to redbubble.com/people/torturepod. And as all the kids these days say, get your fit on, bro. I don't know if that's what they say or not. I'm not cool. The subject of this series has come to be known to many as some of the darkest days in American history. A long, drawn-out tale of forceful removal of an indigenous people from their ancestral home, simply so a few entitled white hicks could farm their cotton and mine their gold. Over the course of this, as detailed as I could make it without writing a full-on dissertation, there will be wars, court cases, deaths, and treaties. Oh, so many treaties. Today, we give you episode 1 of The Trail of Tears. I'm Kevin Young.
And I'm fucking melting.
It's a little hot in the UK, or not even, not the UK. I apologize.
How dare you?
The UK. It's not in Europe. I apologize.
Goddamn son of a...
He's going to come through the computer and choke me out. And this is torture.
I'll forgive it this once.
I apologize.
I got excited when you said treaties. I was like, ooh, treats.
Oh, that would be
not
nice.
the good kind of treaty.
Treats? Treatsies? Lots of treatsies. No, it's a lot more boring than that. Treaty after treaty after treaty. This is going to be a history
I'll take a smoke
lesson,
break around that time.
Yes, this is going to be a history lesson. This is going to be the class that you fell asleep in. Hopefully not. Hey, listen, if you turn on the Torture Pod to sleep to, good on you.
Y'all got
I'll
issues.
just put on episode 2 of Nan King and take a nap. You are one special type of psychopath.
Yeah, imagine Nan King being your white noise machine.
Yeah, no God. I'm going to hit the sauna and listen to Das Boot.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't speak of saunas right now.
Yeah.
It's like one
it's
in here.
Nice in here. And there's no air conditioning in this part of the house, but it's pretty nice in here. But it's still early, kind of early in the morning. I know it's afternoon over there. So the sun's up and...
Yeah, it's getting a bit cooler now than it was.
Your Irish houses are made to retain the heat.
Yeah, it's starting to rain.
Is it? It's been raining here. Fuck, I saw an accident before we get into it. I saw an accident the other day. I was driving home from work, and it was dumping. Anybody who's living in the Illinois, St. Louis type area knows what I'm talking about.
That's in Canada, right?
Yeah, this is up by Saskatchewan. It was up like Thursday evening, And it was, I mean, just absolutely pouring. I was on the interstate. I was going like 60. I had my hazard lights on. This guy comes flying past me. And it's actually kind of lucky that he did, because I would not have seen what he hit if he hadn't have passed me up. But at every single overpass, like right before you'd hit it, I guess from where the water dumps out, there were gigantic puddles. And I mean, you just hit it and you'd start skidding. And this guy hit it going probably 80. And he's quite a ways ahead of me. There's a semi right next to us. And all I see is his taillights just turn and whoosh off to the side, slams right into the wall of the overpass. I'm like, holy fuck. So by the time I get up to him, he's up on this hill. So I pull over the side of the road. I'm going to back up and check, make sure the guy's not fucking dead. I pull over. I go to put it in reverse. I look at my rearview mirror. Here comes the car, pulling back out onto the road. Fucking takes off again just as fast as he was going before. I was like, that motherfucker is either running to something or running from something.
Yeah.
But I'm not kidding.
Or running on something.
Yeah. The bumper of his car is still sitting underneath that overpass on the side of the road. I saw it yesterday when I went to work and on my way home from work. I said it was still there. Fully intact bumper. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude.
That's a free bumper there for you now.
Yeah. Keep doing it. This is how you lose a bumper, but then free bumper.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, you could end up getting a full car eventually if he keeps it up. Just keep going out
long enough.
park by
just
park.
wreck every part of it.
Yeah. Eventually, it's just a guy walking down the highway carrying the one last wheel he has left.
At 80 miles an hour, trying to get away from something. I hope everybody had a good Father's Day. I know we missed last week, but, as we've said several times on this show, life happens. And, it's the way it is. I know probably a lot of people are like, they're going on hiatus again. I know it's about time. We did a couple episodes, time for us to go on hiatus again. But, no, we just took an extra week. Sometimes that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Anyway. The sources for this series are Trail of Tears, The Rise and Fall of the Cherokee Nation by John Ill, and The Cherokee Nation and the Trail of Tears by Theda Perdue and Michael D. Green. I know those two sound like the same book. They are not. One is significantly longer than the other. The Trail of Tears, Rise and Fall of the Cherokee, the book by John L. If you want to know every single second of every single thing that happened to the Cherokees, from their conception as a tribe to the death of a man that we will speak of in our second episode, read that book, because it is very much filled with information about the Cherokees, a lot of which you don't give a shit about. I found out the hard way. You're like, I don't give a fuck about that. It plays no role in the part of this that I want to know about. But if you want to know literally every single thing about the Cherokee tribe, read that book. The other book by Theda Perdue and Michael D. Green, much more streamlined, kind of gets to the point a little bit more.
It's a toilet book.
Yeah. It's a lot shorter. Again, with that, you do lose out on some detail that you might want, but to each their own. They're both very good books. It just depends on how, in-depth you want to get. Also, there's various articles and websites. A bunch of books I wish I could have gotten to. One specifically I wish I would have known about beforehand, simply called Indian Removal by Claudio Sant, because it covers all the tribes instead of just focusing mostly on the Cherokee. But I didn't find out about that book until about 2 days ago. And by then, it's too late. I'm not reading a whole new book and rewriting shit. It's not going to happen. What you get is what you get.
Damn straight. I'm impressed by your lack of dedication.
Thank you.
Because I
try not to try too hard.
Fuck all.
I was like,
Be lucky if I even open up the wiki page.
yeah, what other sources are there that I could get just, to fill it up? And all of a sudden this book pops up. Indian removal covers all, it talks about all the tribes. It's like, motherfucker, that's the one I needed in the first place. Because as you will come to see, as we will come to talk about in a little bit, the Cherokee are not the only tribe that is affected by the Trail of Tears. It is the one that you think of most, but they are not the only ones. So, Dan, let's take you back to late May, early June, 1838, somewhere in northern Georgia. You are a Native American living his life with his family and tribe. Tensions have been high for a long while, and while you know things are about to come to a head, while contemplating the year's crops and how the political landscape in the state, and more so the country, will affect them, you hear a loud bang on your front door. You go open it and are greeted by men from the U.S. Army and a smattering of obvious volunteers. You are told that time is up. Gather what you can and go. You ask for more time. You say that nothing is packed and ready. You need to round up all your family and start packing up clothes and food. Your wife and daughter start gathering up pots and bowls. The men there to escort you off your property tell you that there's no time for that. Grab your shoes and a blanket and get out of the house. You beg again for more time. There are so many things that you will need for the long, daunting trip that awaits you. The men tell you that you've had 2 years and 1 month to decide and prepare, and that time was up. You look for the leash for your dog. They tell you to leave the dog. You tell them that your son is away at the moment and you'll need to wait for him to get home before you can leave. You're told that he'll be rounded up later. It's time to go. With your livestock still out in the field, tools still in the shed, food getting cold on the table, you and your family would be marched to a nearby collection point with other families from the area, while your belongings were looted and seized by white Americans waiting in the wings.
Classic.
After weeks or possible months in these crude stockades, which weren't much more than fences, mud, and guards, you would be organized into detachments for the long journey. Behind you, your life, your ancestral home, everything you've built. Before you, a long and dangerous journey, land that has been promised to you. Unfortunately, those promises are from the government. And along the way, the death of thousands, including many of your own loved ones, all so the white man can have what they want. This was the torture of the Trail of Tears.
Like I said, classic. Typical,
Typical fucking Americans.
Yeah.
Thanks,
and
Obama.
the Americans be like, let's have a national holiday, built around all the shit we did. Let's make it a fun thing, though, for us. That's what that's what you're doing.
4th of July's coming up. 4th of July is right around the corner.
Yeah.
We're going to shoot off fireworks,
Thanksgiving,
eat hot dogs, and we're not
give
going to
thanks for all the Indians we killed.
Not going to think 1 second about all the horrible, horrible things our government has done. And not just the government, the settlers in general, what the people, American people, have done in this fucking country. And I honestly wasn't planning to do the Trail of Tears around the 4th of July, but it fits.
I like it. It's taking ownership right there of all the horrible people that literally you have done.
Yeah.
So you know that you were involved.
Personally, I have done it.
Yeah.
I was there. The fuck off your land, goddammit. Now, when you speak of the Trail of Tears, you usually only think of 1 or 2 tribes of Native Americans, but it was far more than that. There was the Shawnee, the Lenape or the Delaware, the Potawatomi, the Miami, ironically enough, living in Indiana and Ohio, not Florida, the Kickapoo, the Wyandotte, and
great name.
Many more.
Kickapoo. The Kickapoo.
Kickapoo. Yeah. I cannot hear that word without thinking of the Tenacious D song.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking great. Love that song. But the ones that we will focus on mostly for this series, because they are the ones most affected by the Indian Removal Act, are a group known as the Five Civilized Tribes. given this name by white Americans because they were the ones that tried the hardest to adopt European American customs, English-style schools, centralized government, written constitutions, Christianity, business ownership.
Floorboards.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering initially when you were saying about knocking the door, I'm like, motherfuckers can't knock on their doors. It's usually in teepees. Stereotypically.
That is one of the misconceptions that we will cover.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Straight away, it's kind of like, I got this shit all wrong.
There's going to be a lot of people that listen to this series and go, what the fuck? That was not what I was taught. Because that's what I thought the entire time I was researching this. Is that's not what they taught me in school.
Well, of course it wasn't. Because why would they teach you the proper history?
I was taught it was just a bunch of heathens in loincloths, sleeping in teepees, smoking peyote, getting hauled off somewhere else. That's all it was. And that is not anywhere near what happened.
Ye old ice coming in and pulling them from their homes.
Ye old ice. I guess, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, fuck it is.
Except it's not, well, I guess it wouldn't be so much immigration as migration, because they're already there.
Indigenous. Considering the people that are the ones pulling the people out are technically
true,
come from immigrants. So,
yeah.
We can talk about
it's immigration enforcement as far as it's the immigrants that are enforcing the movement instead of the other way around. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So they're pulling like an Israel, Palestine kind of.
That's fucking exactly what it is.
Yes.
It's an Israel Palestine thing with less bombs because they weren't around yet. But if they had been, we'd have used them.
No, of course.
I mean, we just would have. That's all. We've done it before. We'll do it again. Goddamn it! It's just the way it is. So we have the Choctaw, the Seminole, the Chickasaw, the Muscogee or Creek, and the one everybody sees as synonymous with the Trail of Tears, the Cherokee. And they will be the main focus of the majority of this series. Now, we won't just throw the others to the side like they didn't matter. Each of these tribes plays a role and deserves to have their story told. But the reason that the Cherokee are most talked about when it comes to the trail is, ironically, because of the paper trail. With written constitution, national council, published bilingual newspaper, and unlike, say, the Seminoles, who were seemingly all happy to say, fuck you to the government and start blood wars over their land, the Cherokee fought the majority of their battles in the United States court system, leaving heavy documentation through large-scale legal conflict and several meetings with presidents and congressmen. So we have a much more complete narrative on how they fought to keep their land. Well, some of them. This is an event that will take one of the most respected and well-known sovereign nation in history and completely tear themselves apart from the inside. It will end up being Cherokee on Cherokee violence by the end of it. Because of, some people say, we should fight however we can, and some people say, let's just go along with it.
Actually, covered this lightly in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole thing in it where just a group of them, basically being displaced, and some of them will start fighting over it, and one of them wants to go the legal route, but not allowed into a courthouse type thing, whatever, so you can kind of choose to force one way or the other. So obviously I helped him out, went the legal route because I'm a good guy, Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and then I went and shot a load of people. But it's a joy video game.
The legal route I'm taking is that Second Amendment says I can have this gun to shoot you in the face.
Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of misconceptions about the Native Americans, the Trail of Tears, the groups of natives that sold out their own tribes, and how the American government went about it. And we'll try to fix these ideas that were taught to you in middle school as we go.
Like how they're not called Indians and correctly referred to as Native Americans as you were.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things. Damn Indians.
There's a lot of Native Americans that also describe themselves as American Indians, just Indians. It's kind of a free-flowing type. I haven't been able to find like one set word to use that everybody's okay with or everybody's not insulted with.
So it's like talking about people of a particular stature.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, it's gonna be Native Americans, Indians, Indigenous, Native. You'll know who I'm talking about. Also, there are a ton of treaties that are signed and negotiated through this whole kerfuffle. Just the 5 tribes we'll focus on mostly signed between 50 and 80. And if you throw in the other tribes, we're looking at well over 100. We will not be discussing every one. Just
damn it. I wanted extreme detail.
I wanted to focus on the paperwork, damn it.
Yep.
That's what this world needs, a podcast covering paperwork.
Paper pod.
Paper pod. You know what? The ideas just roll right off. You just got to go with them.
Well, that's what I'm going to do for the pop culture section now. It's going to be the paper culture section, and it's going to be me reading through every single one of these things. So
he's going to pull up the first treaty we're going to cover, and he's going to read it front to back.
Yep. I'll get bored.
There are, however, many that are important to the overall story. There's a lot of them that are just going to be like, you're going to give us this much land, and then we're not going to come on to this land, and that's going to be it. There's a lot of those that most of those we're not going to cover. But there are some that are important that do kind of, they are kind of hinges in history of where things could go one way or the other. And we'll try to talk about those at least a little bit. And before we get started, yes, I understand this will be our 3rd, 4th, and 5th episodes of this season, and still no real blood, guts, and gore. I know many of the listeners of the show want blood, guts, and gore, and we want to give you that. But this is, it's an important story to tell, all right? They deserve to have this story told. This will not be a Nan King, women getting bottles left inside them type thing. Most of the deaths, there are assassinations, murders, wars, but most of the deaths from this will come from disease and exposure. I think the whole point of the whole torture aspect of this is people who have been living on land for hundreds of years, all of a sudden white people show up and they're like, yeah, okay, now it's time for you to leave. And no matter how many times they make agreements with the government, it's never enough. It's always, we'll see you tomorrow for a new treaty because we're going to be taking this from you soon. It's more of a, you never know what's coming next. Even when stuff shows up on their doorstep that they would be able to use to buy the land away from the government, they're not allowed to. It's a constant mind fuck over and over and over again. So we will get to blood this season. I have another series scheduled out that will have plenty of blood in it. We will get to the blood and the gore and the guts, you sick little fuckers, I promise. But it's just, the Zorg Massacre I thought was an important one to tell. I wanted to tell that story in February, Black History Month. We weren't recording in February. Again, my fault, but I still had it scheduled out.
Yours was actually 100% definitely on my end of things. That we weren't.
I think by February is probably mostly me.
No. No.
We'll go 50-50 on it. We'll go 50-50 because I was in no way ready to record in February.
Neither was I. That's when the league thing happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I know. Trust me.
yeah,
Trust me,
but anyway, I will interject randomly with random bloody tales of once or twice before I forget. Then that I won't do it again. Sure, this just to keep those people entertained.
Well, the Zorg Massacre was kind of a downer. You know, it was really a downer. So we did the Spanish Donkey because it was a little bit more fun because there wasn't anybody like dying. It was kind of, more of a fun, like Drunkard's Cloak type thing. Ooh. And now we got this. So that no like real
BDSM
blood and guts
type thing as well. The Spanish Donkey.
Yeah, exactly. But we will, I promise you, we will get to the blood and the gore. But sometimes, you need to reel it back a little bit. But anyway, let's start to get to know these 5 tribes. And we'll start with the Choctaw. Now, they were one of the largest and most influential indigenous nations in the southeastern United States. Their homeland covered much of present-day Mississippi and parts of Alabama and Louisiana. The Choctaw traced their origins to Nanihwaya, an ancient earthen mound and surrounded cultural landscape in central Mississippi. They lived in permanent agricultural communities, growing corn, beans, squash, pumpkins, and sunflowers, while also hunting deer and other game. And that leads me to a couple of the most glaring misconceptions of the Native Americans. See, we were taught in school that the mighty Europeans, with their pasty skin and compunction for starting wars over spices they then refused to use in their food, were the ones that taught the Native Americans how to farm. And Dan, when I say Europeans, I mean mostly English, French. Yeah, not Irish.
We were too busy getting shit kicked out at that stage. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. How to clear the field. Yeah, no potatoes. How to clear the field and plant crops rather than forage, and that the Native Americans were nothing more than a band of roaming nomads, moving their tribe from place to place, following the buffalo across the country, living their entire lives out of teepees. When in reality, many of these tribes had fully fledged towns with homes and farms, community. Now, why are we taught the opposite? Well, because early American history was written through a colonial lens that aimed to justify the displacement of indigenous people. Long before the United States existed, the Choctaw were skilled diplomats and traders, maintaining relationships with neighboring tribes, and later with French, Spanish, British, and American governments. The first major European contact likely came through the expedition of Hernando de Soto in 1540, and like many native nations, the Choctaw suffered devastating population loss from European disease over the following centuries. They did not know disease until the white man arrived. Excuse me.
Syphilis.
Fucking Ace Ventura. Now we have the Chickasaw. They occupied a large territory centered in present-day northern Mississippi, western Tennessee, northwestern Alabama, and southwestern Kentucky. And like the Choctaw, the Chickasaw are generally... Yeah. Huh?
They're redneck Indians.
Redneck, exactly. All of these are. They're all in that sister-loving area of the country.
Closer to Alabama cousins.
Area. Yeah. They're generally considered descendants of ancient Mississippian cultures that built the mound centers in the southeast. Again, they lived in permanent towns and practiced extensive agriculture. They developed a reputation as formidable warriors and fiercely independent people. During the colonial era, they successfully defended their homeland against numerous enemies and often played European powers against one another to preserve their autonomy. Now, unlike some neighboring tribes that fell under strong French influence, the Chickasaw frequently aligned with the British, largely because British trade provided firearms and other goods that helped them maintain their independence against rival tribes and colonial powers. As American settlement expanded after the American Revolutionary War, Chickasaw leaders increasingly turned towards diplomacy as their primary means of survival. They recognized that the growing population and military strength of the United States made large-scale armed resistance unlikely to succeed. And throughout the late 18th and early 19th centuries, the Chickasaw adopted many practices that American officials associated with civilization. They expanded commercial agriculture, raised livestock, encouraged education, and developed closer economic ties with American communities. So far, doing exactly what the American government wants them to do. You know, you can't be heathens. You gotta do everything our way. And most of them are like, all right, if it means you'll leave us the fuck alone, we'll do whatever we need to do. Because they're understanding as things go on, they're not going to be able to take on the U.S. military by themselves.
U.S. government stepped in, gave them all pickup trucks, sleeveless T-shirts, and American flags and
bumper stickers. These colors don't run.
Yeah. Oh,
here's your yearly supply of sparklers and fireworks. Ration them as you need.
Here's a goal for every man, woman, and child.
Hamburgers with.
Imagine. Oh God! And they're all just sitting around going, "Oosa, oosa, oosa."
When do we go tailgating? Now, as far as
they're just backing their horses up next to each other, barbecues on the back.
Well, I see you're missing a horse. What the fuck you think we're barbecuing?
Yeah.
Dan, I have a confession to make. I have
crabs.
Beard dandruff. It's close.
So much worse.
I know. Look away, I'm hideous. All seriousness. All serious.
All serious.
All serious. Me serious now. No funny. No more. Frankenstein. No fire. Bad. In all seriousness, many of us men with facial hair have some sort of dry skin under their face fur. I have particularly dry skin, especially on my face, around my nose, my eyes, ears. That beard and mustache, they draw a ton of moisture from your skin in order to stay healthy, leaving the skin underneath sometimes dry, itchy, red, flaky, leading to the beard dandruff. And I struggled with it for quite a while. Struggled to, rein it in. Then I found thebeardstruggle.com. They use all natural products, never tested on animals, that your face, body, and beard will love.
They have day oils to protect your beard from UV rays and dirt and grime, and it keeps your skin from drying out. All the troubles the day can bring. And they have night oils to help moisturize and rejuvenate your skin and beard while you sleep. Not to mention, as of right now, they have 8 different fragrances. According to this.
That's what they tell me. That's what they tell me.
Do you want to know what they are?
I do. I want you to.
Ready?
I want you to pronounce them perfectly.
Okay. Here we go. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
From Alfheim's Forest, which has a scent of woodsy, leather and spices, to Hionir's Home,
Close enough.
Scents of greenery, amber and musk, to Valhalla's Gates, with essences of citrus, amber, sandalwood and vanilla.
Now, right now I'm using the Acer's Triumph, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, which has the scent of sweet incense, tobacco, whiskey, and cinnamon, and my wife absolutely loves it. Of course, I haven't gotten one from them that she hasn't loved, so. And if you can't choose, just get the sample pack, which comes with 6 of their mainstay scents and 5 milliliter bottles of nighttime elixir, so you can decide what is best for you. But they have so much more than just oils. Balms, wax, shampoo, conditioner, butters, cologne, natural deodorant, skincare products, heated beard straighteners, combs, brushes, shaving kits, growth kits, merch. List goes on and on and on. No matter what kind, length, or style of facial hair you have, the Beard Struggle has the products you need.
You get a free gift for purchases over $50, Then you get another free gift for purchases over $100, and all orders over $65 US get free shipping. You have a 90-day money-back guarantee, so you really have nothing to lose. And be sure to use our exclusive coupon code TORTURE19 at checkout to get 19% off your entire order. That's TORTURE19 at checkout for 19% off your entire order.
Torture19 at checkout, or click on the link in the show notes. TheBeardStruggle.com. Do what's right for your beard. Do what's right for your face. Now, as far as the Muscogee or Creek, they were not a single tribe, but a vast confederacy of towns and communities spread across present-day Georgia, Alabama, and parts of Florida. Their society grew out of the Mississippian culture that had dominated the Southeast for centuries before European contact, just like the Chickasaw and the Choctaw. Creek towns were often independent political entities connected by language, trade, kinship, and shared cultural traditions. Major settlements were built around central plazas and council houses with surrounding farmland. The Confederacy was generally divided. I don't know why I made divided a longer word than what it needed.
Devoured.
Divided. They were generally divided into Upper Creek and Lower Creek towns, a distinction that would later play a major role in the response to American expansion. The Creeks became one of the most powerful native forces in the Southeast, controlling enormous territories and serving as major players in regional diplomacy and trade with the British, Spanish, French, and later the United States. During the late 18th and early 19th centuries, many Creek leaders attempted to adapt to the growing power of the United States. Adopted aspects of American agriculture, expanded livestock production, encouraged education, and developed closer economic ties with American settlers. However, the Creek Confederacy faced a challenge that some neighboring tribes did not. It was not politically decentralized, and not all Creek communities agreed on how to deal with the United States. Some leaders favored accommodation and diplomacy, while others believed American expansion threatened the very survival of the Creek society. This is a key point that will come into play later.
They weren't wrong.
They're not. And you're going to find yourself rooting for people, rooting for sides that will ultimately, I can just tell you, the sides that you're rooting for almost all the time don't win. You're going to be disappointed.
We did.
But it took you like 800 years.
Yeah, so what?
We played the long game.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck? Still did it. So
now the Seminoles are kind of the outlier here, because before Europeans arrived in Florida, there was no single tribe known as the Seminoles. They emerged during the 18th century from a mixture of peoples, primarily migrants from the Creek Confederacy who moved south into Florida to escape the wars and changes to the rest of the Southeast. Now, these migrants joined with the remnants of older Floridian tribes, including descendants of the Tumacqua and the Apache. I don't know why I said that weird. Whose populations have been devastated by disease, warfare, and slavery during the Spanish colonial period. The word Seminole likely comes from the Spanish cimarron, meaning wild or runaway. By the late 18th century, Seminole communities occupied much of Florida, living in scattered villages and farmsteads. They farmed, hunted extensively, and maintained trade networks with Spanish Florida, the Bahamas, and neighboring native peoples. One distinctive feature of Seminole society was its close relationship with communities of escaped enslaved Africans, known today as Black Seminoles, who often lived alongside Seminole settlements and sometimes formed military alliances with them. They never developed a centralized national government. Leadership remained local. You'll find with somebody like the Cherokee, they have a big government one person at the top and people underneath them. Seminoles never did that. This is your group. This is your leader. This is your group. This is your leader. If you want to do something with one another, they talk it out. Now we come to the group that we will discuss the most, the Cherokee, one of the largest and most powerful indigenous nations in the southeastern United States. Their homeland stretched across much of present-day Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Alabama, particularly in the Appalachian Mountains and surrounding valleys. Now, they lived in permanent towns connected by trade, kinship, and diplomacy, rather than isolated villages. Politically, they were organized around individual towns that governed themselves while sharing a common language, culture, and identity. Long before the United States existed, the Cherokee were already a well-established nation with deep connections to the land, their ancestors, and the sacred sites throughout the southern Appalachians. Over the course of the 18th and early 19th century, the Cherokee adapted dramatically to the changing world around them. After suffering from disease, warfare, and increased pressure from European colonists, many Cherokee leaders concluded that survival depended on finding a way to coexist with the expanding United States. Rather than retreating from American society, they selectively adopted aspects of it. Like some of the other ones, they developed centralized national government, embraced formal education, some converted to Christianity, and many adopted American-style farming and commercial practices. What was American-style farming, you asked? Especially in the South? Well, a number of wealthy Cherokee bought into plantation-style farming. And what is the main component in plantation-style farming, Dan? Now, Mr. Hourigan in the front. Slavery. There you go. So,
Yes. 6 points, Gryffindor.
Not great. Now, some historians would argue that the treatment on native plantations was less rigid than on other plantations. They weren't treated quite as badly, but slavery is still slavery, and it still sucked, And many Cherokee in the nation still didn't look kindly on it. A lot of those wealthy farmers who owned slaves almost kind of looked like sellouts a little bit, or cruel because you're not supposed to own a person. But there were other tribes all throughout America that had slaves. They weren't black slaves that were shipped over. They were taken during wars between tribes, and these tribes were now the slaves of this tribe. Not so much at this time. That was a while before that, but it did happen. Anyways, Cherokee leadership hoped that these changes would demonstrate that they were a sovereign nation capable of living alongside the United States rather than being absorbed by it. Now, I would love to be able to point to one specific spot in history and say that is where everything started. But just like most events in history, it's not that simple.
Mayflower.
I mean, yeah, you could look at the Europeans landing on America and say there it is. That you could, because technically that is where it started. But honestly, I just don't want to go that far back.
Big Bang.
There's a lot of shit to cover. So I think we'll start at the Revolutionary War, because that's a big turning point of white American and indigenous relationships. For the better
never
part,
really hear about anything to do with them at that time.
About the Native Americans.
yeah, like we wouldn't have. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
You nearly think that what we were taught, that everything that we're talking about now was already done and dusted at that stage. If you get me?
Oh no,
like that's the thing. Yeah,
no.
So
no, not even close.
Yeah.
Most Native Americans did side with the British, because So the better part of 1770, the American settlers were rapidly wrestling their way into indigenous land. By contrast, the British limited the amount they expanded west and south. They kind of gave the Native Americans their space. And for many of them, they saw the British as the lesser threat to their home and their way of life. So factions of Cherokee, Iroquois, Shawnee, and Muscogee sided with the Redcoats to fight back the makeshift American military. They saw the writing on the wall. They kind of knew if these white Americans have their way, they're going to take all of our land. And the British were like, we've gone far enough. If we keep going further, it's going to be harder for us to control America. So we've gone far enough. These people are already there. Let them do their thing.
It's much bigger than the place they were used to.
Yeah. They really bit off a lot more than they could chew.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, but, anyway, some of these factions would launch coordinated attacks on frontier settlements in what was called the Cherokee American Wars that were part of the larger Revolutionary War. And if they weren't fighting with the British, they tended to just stay neutral. Now, for this, the Americans responded with brutal force, with militias launching retaliatory campaigns that destroyed dozens of Cherokee towns, burning fields, confiscating food stores, and forcing widespread displacement. And by the end of the war, Cherokee power in the Southeast had been severely weakened, and Americans viewed Native alliances with the British as proof that they were hostile to the newly formed United States. And with no British there to halt expansion, the white Americans just started bleeding into Native land. Kind of what you do. Big brother goes away, and now there's no way to protect you.
Yeah.
But the government had kind of seen enough war for a while. They just got done fighting a huge revolutionary war. Lots of pieces going on, starting to form a new government. So they volleyed for peace, and they established the Treaty of Hopewell with the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, and the Choctaw to draw official boundaries between the U.S. and the indigenous territory, and to recognize them as a distinct political nation, promising that settlers would not trespass on their land, and anyone that did would be punished. The problem, however, is that the settlers just kind of ignored it. They didn't give a fuck. That treaty didn't mean anything to them. That's between the natives
doesn't surprise me at all.
And the government. I'm just a simple farmer. I'm just a simple settler. I don't give two shits about whatever fucking treaty you signed with the president of the United States. I couldn't give a fuck less. So they just continued moving into native territory faster than the government could stop them. Promises aside, the federal government lacked the ability and, honestly, the willingness to enforce this treaty. It's kind of like, we will not let them come onto your land. Well, there's some. Yeah, they're kind of far away. So
he's all the way over there.
We'll get the next one. Well, what about them? I know that dude. He's a good guy. Just let him go. Just let him go. It'll be fine. What about all them? There's too many now. I mean, because there's too... Yeah, fuck it. Just fuck it. It's pretty much... And that's kind of how all the treaties go. It's... We promise you all this stuff. Well, all this stuff is happening now. Nothing we can do about it. Sorry.
That's ridiculous. Really?
I'm telling you, you will get pissed off.
Oh, I was expecting that anyway.
Yeah. I was pissed off. About all the shit and about, like, why didn't I learn most of this in school? But now, there were several treaties signed in the 1780s and 90s whose main goal was to get the natives to cede more land in return for establishing the rest of their land the Native Americans had as their own, promising to keep out new settlers, track down those that had already moved into the area, make annual payments to the tribes for their land, and even give them agricultural assistance and set up verified trade between the nations. The Treaty of Holston and the Treaty of New York, just to name a couple. These, of course, did almost nothing to deter white Americans from moving into native land, to which the government did very little. We just signed that treaty with you and you're not doing anything about it. Yeah.
You know, the difference is, though, you have taxation with representation.
Oh.
So, you know.
And all the T's
you can do whatever the fuck you want. Apparently.
Yeah. There were several treaties signed between 1798 and 1806 called the Tellico Treaties with the Cherokee. These would involve land cessions in exchange for money, goods, and more promises regarding security of the remaining territory. The main reason for these treaties was simple: road construction. The U.S. government wanted transportation routes through the land to connect expanding settlements. The Cherokee signed it, hoping the compromise would prevent larger conflicts. But again, the settlers took no mind to what the government promised, and continued to move south and west.
Suddenly there's Orange Julius's all over their land and housing estates and subways.
We already have 2 Starbuckses here. We don't need a third.
Then they start opening up Apache pizzas and they're like, it's too far.
All they want to do is open a casino and they won't let them. But we got 5 McDonald's in a 1/4-mile radius.
Yeah.
The Treaty of Mount Dexter saw the Choctaw give millions of acres in Mississippi and Alabama to the U.S. in exchange for money, goods, and the cancellation of debts to traders, and the promise of establishing the remaining land as Choctaw territory, a promise that was, as you guessed it, not kept. And so on and so on. For almost the next 3 decades, the U.S. government would go into treaties with tribes of the South and Southeast, and the tribes would sign on the dotted line, and almost immediately the United States would go back on its word. No point in keep going with it. That's just the way it fucking is. That's how it's going to continue to be. But what about, no, it doesn't fucking matter. But they signed, I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter. It's just. So if you're wondering, well, they can't do that because they signed that treaty, go fuck yourself is pretty much what they're saying.
You just come up with another treaty that just says, this one overrides the rule.
Well, I know this treaty said that. We're going to write this treaty says that treaty doesn't matter, and then we'll make another treaty that's better than this treaty. So we'll do 3 treaties at once. It's a paperwork thing. Got a lot of red tape.
You can see where Trump learned all his political prowess from.
Yeah.
Obviously, somehow reading one of these books, even though I don't even know if he could read. It's the one pictures of it.
No, somebody had to read it to him, and they had to use a lot of colors and shapes.
Yeah, and they got as far as, they didn't stand by what they said they would do, and he's like, that's it.
That's what you do.
That's as far as I need.
That's how I do it. Yeah. Every time I build a building, that's what I do. I'll pay you this much. I'm not going to pay you anything now. That's his entire business model. His favorite president is coming up. I believe 2nd episode. He will be coming up. And you know, if he's Trump's favorite, he's a douche. I have conflicted thoughts about Andrew Jackson. And like I said, we'll get to him on the next episode. Now, even though the 5 tribes were doing what they could to assimilate to the white American way, plantation-style commercial farming, written laws, English schools.
Bobo tea.
That's the Japanese-American influence there. Getting real big into anime.
Yeah. Sticking 8-liter V12s into their, or V8s even, into their fucking horses.
That's right.
Let's go.
Is this unleaded? I only put leaded in my horses.
Yeah.
I run straight diesel. And Christian, white style government Christianity. They also tried to adopt. In 1809, President Thomas Jefferson began openly discussing voluntary native migration westward as a long-term solution. Now you might ask, westward to where? Well, in 1803, there is a major change in the literal landscape of what was considered America. Up until this point, the country of the United States of America only went as far as the eastern side of the Mississippi River.
It's because it had only been invented.
Yeah, we'd only been there for, a minute, 10 seconds.
Again, in the history of the world, if you were to look at it as like in a big giant pie chart up to that point, you wouldn't even be on it.
We wouldn't be a sliver.
No.
We'd be that one part of the peel on the apple that didn't get taken off inside the cooked pie. That's all we are.
The one part of uncooked dough that's down the bottom.
Yeah, the one part of the egg that didn't get quite whipped for the meringue. Yeah. We're babies. But for a measly $15 million, approximately $18 per square mile, Thomas Jefferson acquisitioned 828,000 square miles of new land on the western side of the Mississippi, known famously as the Louisiana Purchase, including areas that would become Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, large portions of North and South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and sections of Minnesota, New Mexico, Texas, and of course, Louisiana. It's a lot of land. Also some land in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but nobody cares about that. Most of this land was already taken up by Native Americans of different tribes. So it only made sense to someone that knew nothing about how the indigenous people viewed, respected, and honored the land they lived on, that one plot of land was just as good as another. It's like, I know you like this land, but we got all this brand new land, and there's already natives living there, so you can just go live there. Go have play dates. It'll be fun.
It's like a fucking cesspit.
Meet new people. But again, this was only voluntary. They were not being forced out yet. But it was like we have all this new land. If you don't like us encroaching on the land here, feel free to pack all your shit and move. Yeah. We'll have a treaty about it.
Yeah, we'll have several.
We'll do a treaty party. New treaty signed every 5 minutes until someone wants a car. Now, in the early 1800s, Tecumseh, the Shawnee leader, sought to unite the tribes of the land against the U.S. expansion. He envisioned a pan-Indian confederacy that would protect native sovereignty and culture during this period of rapid encroachment by white Americans. He traveled from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico, trying his hardest to recruit tribes into a defensive coalition against U.S. settlements, arguing that native land belonged collectively to all native people and that no single tribe had the right to sell it without the consent of all tribes. This was a direct challenge to the American treaty system, which relied on negotiation with tribes individually and acquiring land piece by piece. Pretty much, we're all Native Americans, whether we belong to different tribes or not. This is all our land. You have no right to give it away without all of us telling you you can. It's pretty much what he was saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
And honestly, if they could have stuck with that, it might have gone better. Okay, take a wild guess on if it works.
Well, I think I know enough about country to know that no.
No, it did not. Now, while Tecumseh traveled recruiting support for tribes throughout the Midwest and South, his brother Tenskwatawa, known as the Prophet, led a growing native settlement called Prophetstown in present day Indiana. All my words are running together today. I don't understand. Prophetstown also sounds like the same town that Jim Jones was in, and he killed all those people with Flavor Aid. But
I don't know.
That was a long time before. Now, the year after Prophetstown was founded in 1808, Governor William Henry Harrison negotiated the Treaty of Fort Wayne, in which several tribes sold around 3 million acres of land to the U.S. This didn't sit well with Tecumseh, and he personally let Harrison know, warning him that he would continue to recruit tribes to oppose land sales. Harrison took this as a threat. On top of that, tensions between Britain and the U.S. were increasing, and there was suspicion that agents in Canada were supplying weapons and encouraging native resistance. Fucking Canadians. It's always the Canadians just weaseling their way in, trying to make themselves important like anybody gives a fuck.
Yeah, Phil.
Phil. I'm joking. I love all you Canadians. Martin Short's one of my favorites. So on November 6th, 1811, Harrison marched nearly 1,000 troops to Prophetstown and camped out. Tenskwatawa requested talks for the following day, but that night the native warriors attacked, and all hell broke loose. Harrison's force fended off the attack and then burned the town to the ground. All the houses, all the food stores, all the supplies. This would become famously known as the Battle of Tippecanoe for the river just outside Prophetstown. If you ever heard of the Battle of Tippecanoe, this was it. If you're an American, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's obvious. It's not a big enough subject to cover for people of other nationalities to really know about. But if you went to school in America, you've at least heard of Tippecanoe. But, now, this would set the stage for the War of 1812. And that is where we will pick up with the native on native war, the 4 most important people to the Cherokee Nation's fight, a major discovery, and the first of many removals on part 2 of the Trail of Tears.
Before we sign off here, Kevin, just remind me, what year was this again that you just said there 2 seconds ago?
The War of 1812?
Oh, there you go. Right. So all this shit is happening. How many years ago compared to right now? Let me see. 2026 minus 1812. 214 years ago. Minus, let's just say 40 years to give rough enough thing for both of our ages, let's say. So that's around 170 years ago. So that would be, like, put it this way. My grandmother lived just on the cusp of 100. Which means, like, it's literally 2 relations, a couple of generations back. That's how fresh all this fucking shit is. And you just wouldn't imagine it, though. That was that close in history. Yeah. That all this crap's happening.
We still have a couple decades of this shit to go.
Oh, I know that, yeah. That's... Yeah. Yeah, sure, like, you see it as well. I don't know if you want me to give any culture references or not, but, like, you see it in that 1883 show. There's a whole thing to do with, when they're up in Minnesota and stuff like that, or not Minnesota, Montana.
Sorry. Is that the Yellowstone spinoff?
Yeah, it's the
no, I haven't seen any of that one. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
it's excellent, except for your one in it. Daddy, my daddy told me if we go down to Wyoming, and it's like, shut the fuck up. She's really annoying. Like, she's really fucking annoying.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. She's very irritating very quickly with her voiceovers. It's worth watching, though. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
In part 2.
Again, this is going to be a history lesson, as if you couldn't already tell. There is a lot of stuff going on during this time that I'm not going to cover because I don't want this to be a 5-part series. I'm trying to keep it to where each episode is a moderate length. I don't, this Zorg Massacre was a little over, like right at 2 hours. That sometimes feels like it's a little long. So I have them I tried to cut them down to where they're a moderate length, 3 episodes, for easy ingestion, But there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of little battles, a lot of little fights that aren't covered in this series, because it's just, if we covered every single thing, it would go on forever, because there's a lot of shit that we could talk about. But just so you keep that in mind for the next 2 episodes. I'd like to thank our patrons, Willow Quinn Fowler, Sam and Molly Mitchell. You can sign up as well at patreon.com/torturepod. 1 week of our cult leader tier for free. Go to torture.podview.com. Connect with us. Listen to episodes. Connect with us on our socials. To get in contact with us through our email, which is torturepod@gmail.com. You can also go to buymeacoffee.com/torturepod to donate. All of our merch is at redbubble.com/people/torturepod. Pride merch profits donated to the Trevor Project. I know we're just coming on the ass end of Pride Month. I hope everybody had a good Pride Month, a very safe Pride Month. If people tell you, why do you get a whole month while the veterans only get a day? Remind them the veterans get way more than 1 day. They get an entire month of their own, and they get a spattering of time throughout the year. So shut the fuck up. I mean, I don't know what else to fucking tell you.
I want an Irish month.
You get St. Patrick's Day.
That's not good enough.
That's not good enough? Where everybody's Irish.
Yeah, I know.
And we have Cinco de Mayo, where everybody's Mexican, including all the people that hate Mexicans. That's America, baby.
Yeah, I know.
I hate these people.
I'm not
damn it, their food and their liquor and their music and their culture is great. I just hate the people.
I'm not even going to get into it.
Go ahead. You're not going to upset me.
Oh, I know.
Trust me. I fucking know.
I don't know. This is so. Yeah, some of the biggest celebrations there are around some of the most horrific times.
Yeah. Yeah. And not to and to put
it's just to make light of it all in the sense that you don't have to think about the horrible shit, and it's not like you said as well, not taught properly or any of that stuff,
No, because of who wrote the history books.
Yeah. And
now who was saying, I mean, you have an administration that's saying, we can't teach the bad things that America did because America never did any bad things. We only teach people to love America. If you don't, that's their whole big thing. Teach kids to love America. It's like, I'm pretty sure that's what the fucking Germans did.
Yeah.
Right before they started throwing people in camps.
Yeah. It's like, here's something for you now. Sorry. A nice little comparison between America and Nazi Germany.
Sure.
There's a whole thing you always see, especially obviously only in movies because we weren't there to see it for ourselves, but like the whole thing of everybody standing to attention, the kids all dressed in the uniform remember when they set up all those schools for them and they'd step up and they'd be all like Heil Hitler and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, ironically, every single morning in American schools, pledge the allegiance thing.
A lot of them do. Not near as much as when I was a kid. When I was a kid, up until...
It's very indoctrination kind of...
America is a very be patriotic or get the fuck out type place. It really is.
Yeah, ironically as well.
We did the Pledge of Allegiance until, I want to say up until we got into like middle school. I don't remember doing it in like junior high school.
Oh, you've had enough of it then. It's already baked into you, see.
It's already baked in, yeah. So when you're real young, yeah. Everybody stand up, say the Pledge of Allegiance. They'll do it over the intercom system, Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, all that stuff. And you don't think a thing about it when you're a kid. You're just like, well, this is just what we do, And then when you get older, you're like, that's kind of weird.
And then ironically, you desecrate the flag every single opportunity that's given as well. Like putting a
let's
bikini
make banners
or-
of the flag so we can sell mattresses on President's Day.
Yeah, it's shit like so it's
Let's make
it's
it black
just-
and white with one thin blue stripe so we could point out who the racist motherfuckers really are.
Yeah, I just think it's funny.
It's bad when the symbol of your country, the American flag, which I think the American flag is beautiful. I think it's one of the most beautiful flags out there. I don't think it's the most beautiful, but I think it's an amazing flag. But it's horrible when you see somebody with an American flag outside their house or a sticker on their car or wearing it on a T-shirt, which you're not supposed to be doing. By the way.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it's saying. Yeah.
You automatically assume that person's a racist Republican.
I
That's
don't.
the first thing
I
when I
wouldn't.
see somebody
Yeah,
with American
yeah,
flag,
yeah.
anything, I immediately think that's a racist Republican.
I
July
wouldn't.
4th.
I can understand it, but at the same time, I can get why you would think that because it's a very similar thing here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You'd immediately think like, well, there's ever since the whole IRA thing back in the day and all that.
Sure.
The concept of being a Republican can be taken in two different ways, and people flying the flag and all that jazz. It could, an awful lot of time people would assume like, oh, they're 100% straight up Republican in possibly a negative way. Yep. Somebody who has a copy of the proclamation up in their house kind of thing is typically taken as, you
got a lot of them over here that walk around with with the little hand constitution, little ones in their pocket.
Yeah.
It's like, but you don't ever read it. Because if you did, you'd realize that half the stuff you guys want to do says in the Constitution you can't do that. So,
damn idiots.
Damn. All right. Also, thank you to our sponsors. You could support us by supporting them. Dan, any words of wisdom?
Yeah. Don't move your ass over to foreign country and then kick out all the Indigenous people that are living there and then take it over for yourself and then fight the people who are over there with you, push them back out and then keep pushing these other people out and then claim that you're in the right for doing so.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I will, however,
I know that's very shitty, brief way of saying it.
But I will, however, need you to come up with two better ones for the next ones, because that's going to be a continuing theme through the next two episodes of us just kicking people off of their land.
Okay.
What's your second words of wisdom? Keep not doing the thing I told you to not do on the last episode.
Yeah. Remember my first one? Ditto. Yeah.
All right. Well, one episode down, two to go. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. We'll see you.
Sayonara.
Thank you.